Here are the top stories for today, May 31st, 2019. The containers of trash exported by Canada to the Philippines years ago are shipped out of the country. President Duterte tells Comelec to stop availing the services of Smartmatic following continued allegations of electoral fraud. The military condemns the mine attack on a civilian convoy by the New People's Army in Bukidnon. And the Duterte administration's freedom of information is highlighted in the celebration of World Press Freedom Day. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. More than 1,000 tons of trash illegally shipped to the Philippines has been sent back to Canada after weeks of diplomatic spat. Merck's MV Bavaria carries the garbage together with 150 shipping containers as it is taking the regular commercial route. It docked in Subic Bay around 3 p.m. Thursday and left past 7 a.m. Friday. It is expected to arrive at the Port of Vancouver in Canada on June 22nd. SBMA Chairman and Administrator Wilma Aisma lauds the reshipment of trash, saying it is a momentous occasion. She thanks the President for his decisive action. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin said Canada paid for fumigation, ship-side loading, and shipping, which was estimated to cost around 10 million pesos. He posted on Twitter a photo of MV Bavaria leaving saying bye-bye and another tweet saying he's gonna miss it. And as the garbage row has come to an end, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr. has withdrawn his order for the recall of the Filipino ambassador and consuls to Canada. In a Twitter post, Locsin advised the recalled envoys to return to their posts as he apologized for taking drastic measures. The recall of ranking Filipino envoys in Canada were issued on May 16 after Ottawa missed the supposed deadline set by the government. A total of 69 garbage-laden containers, 67 of which have been stored in Subic and 2 recently brought in from Manila, were loaded onto the commissioned container ship MV Bavaria and are now on a return voyage to Canada. SBMA Chairperson Wilma Aisma said, "Today is significant as the problem on imported garbage is already resolved for good." President Rodrigo Duterte advised the Commission on Elections on Thursday to let go of the services of Smartmatic in the country's automated elections. In his speech during his meeting with the Filipino community in Tokyo, Japan, President Duterte told the Comelec to get a new service provider that is free of fraud. He said the public has no more trust in Smartmatic as votes of Filipinos are not counted accurately. The president said the poll body has enough time to look for a new service provider since it has 3 years to prepare for the next automated elections.
I would like to advise Comelec now, hindi ko na lang hintayin dispose of that Smartmatic and look for a new one that is free of fraud. Anything that promotes cheating, why are you insisting sa Smartmatic? Because bidding? Kaya yung bidding, alisin talaga ninyo yan. And if you use that in the next election 3 years from now, I don't know what will happen. Something has got to give. Improve on the system. Stop using Smartmatic.
Amid President Rodrigo Duterte's advice, the Commission on Elections says Smartmatic will not be banned from participating in any future bidding. Comelec spokesperson James Jimenez said they need a legal basis before they can ban any supplier or provider for any future election. The Venezuela-based Smartmatic has been providing the vote-counting machine since the Philippines first implemented a nationwide automation of the elections in 2010. Meanwhile, NAMFREL on Friday welcomed President Rodrigo Duterte's call to get rid of Smartmatic. In an interview with another TV network, NAMFREL Treasurer Lito Averia said Duterte's pronouncement has opened the opportunity to look for another election technology. A total of 961 VCMs malfunctioned, while 1,665 secure digital cards of VCMs were corrupted during the recent midterm elections. The PNP encourages victims of cyberbullying to file complaints, and the provincial bus ban in EDSA has been put on hold. More on this and other news around the metro from Janice Cabe.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue filed criminal tax complaints before the Department of Justice against 5 delinquent corporate taxpayers. The 5 companies are facing charges for failure to pay taxes amounting to 71 million pesos. BIR Deputy Commissioner Marisa Cabreros urged other taxpayers with delinquent tax liabilities to settle their outstanding accounts and avail of the amnesty signed earlier this year by President Rodrigo Duterte. Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police on Thursday urged victims of cyberbullying to report these incidents and file charges against the suspects. PNP spokesperson Bernard Banach said from January 2017 to March 2019, there were 22 recorded cases of cyberbullying, with minors comprising most of the victims, and the incidents happened mostly through social media. Task force units have been formed to address bullying and other threats in schools. In other news, MMDA Traffic Manager Bong Nebrija said the provincial bus ban in EDSA, which was earlier scheduled for June, has been put on hold. Despite the postponement, Nebrija said the MMDA will still push through with their preparation, and they are waiting for the revised city bus routes and new fare matrix from LTFRB. Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda and Ako Bicol party list earlier filed a request to stop the bus ban, saying the scheme is anti-provinciano and that provincial bus only costs 5% of traffic on the 23-kilometer stretch of EDSA. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cabe.
Still to come, President Duterte gives the go signal to auction the sequestered jewels of the Marcos family. The military condemns the mine attack on a civilian convoy by the New People's Army in Bukidnon. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues. President Duterte has welcomed moves to put up the Marcos jewelry collection for auction. In an ambush interview on Thursday, presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo confirmed that the Marcos family jewels are ready to be subject for auctioning as long as the public benefits from the sale. He said it will be up to the president when he will sign the order to auction the Marcos jewels. About 704.8 million pesos worth of jewelry of former First Lady Imelda Marcos are set to be auctioned. Senator Cynthia Villar says she is considering heeding possible calls to take over the Senate presidency. Villar expressed that she is open to holding the Senate presidency in the 18th Congress and will consider the matter if her companions in the so-called hungpog ng pagbabago bloc decide to field her into the post. Meanwhile, Senator Panfilo Lacson says a resolution will be routed among senators starting Monday to find out who is still supporting the leadership of Senate President Tito Soto. Lacson revealed that the resolution giving Soto's vote of confidence is Senator Manny Pacquiao's idea. He said, based on expression of support, Soto is likely to retain his post. Incoming Senator Francis Tolentino earlier insinuated a leadership change, with Amy Marcos saying there are senators who are lobbying to name Villar as Senate President. The Department of National Defense said they are ready to answer and expressed confidence that the allegations made by militant groups will be proven false and dismissed before the courts. DND spokesperson Arsenio Andolong said on Thursday, they are confident that the allegations by Karapatan and Gabriela in connection with the writ of amparo and habeas data will be proven false before the courts. He also said the DND and its bureaus fully adhere to the rule of law. This view was shared by DND Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, who emphasized that their response will be done in the proper venue and time. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court granted the petition for writ of amparo and habeas data filed by the two progressive groups along with the rural missionaries of the Philippines. The groups earlier claimed that their rights to life, liberty, and security were violated by the government's red tagging allegation. Named as respondents in this petition were President Rodrigo Duterte, Lorenzana, National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon, AFP Chief of Staff Benjamin Madrigal, and 10 others. In its 6-page order, the High Court also ordered the respondents to submit a verified return of the writ of amparo and habeas data before the Court of Appeals on or before June 13 and to comment on the petition. The SC ruling also directed the CA to hear the petition by June 18 and resolve the case based on the merits within 10 days. The Police Regional Office 11 has started inspecting companies known to be offering shady investment schemes in Davao Region. PRO 11 Director Marcelo Morales led a team in Tagum City on Thursday to inspect companies allegedly engaged in easy money schemes. Morales confirmed there are around 30 firms offering investment schemes in Tagum City alone. Retail and networking companies have been attracting people to invest at least 5,000 pesos plus registration fees. Among the noted companies are Region Marketing, which is reportedly offering 400% return, and Kappa Community Ministry International, which solicits investments in the guise of donations. The Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, has earlier issued a cease and desist order against Kappa, which the religious sect is fighting in court. Morales hopes government regulatory agencies would start looking into the companies engaging in dubious investment schemes. Bacolod City Government vows to grant gratuity benefits for daycare workers. The AFP condemns a CPP-NPA attack in Bukidnon. More on these and other news from the provinces from Janice Cabe.
In Bacolod City, gratuity benefits will be granted to all qualified daycare and early childhood development workers once they retire from service. Those who have worked for 15 to 24 years will get 1,000 pesos for every year of service, while workers for 25 to 34 years will get 1,250 pesos for every year of service. In Zamboanga City, all local public elementary and secondary schools are ready for the opening of classes on Monday amid a shortage of some 900 teachers. Over 220,000 students are expected to troop to public schools on June 3, while the number of public school teachers totaled 7,732 only. This as their request for additional teachers last year was not granted by the Central Office of the Department of Education. The City School Division is hoping to get additional teachers this year. In Bukidnon, at least 11 people, including 7 soldiers, were wounded after a landmine exploded as a military convoy escorting foreigners passed in Impasugong town, Bukidnon, on Thursday morning. AFP spokesperson Edgar Arevalo said the CPP-NPA attack only shows that contrary to their trumpeted role, they are against the progress of indigenous peoples. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, meanwhile, said the NPA attack means the rebels are weakened and have gone berserk, and the act will further alienate them from the masses. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Up next, the Duterte administration's freedom of information is highlighted in the celebration of World Press Freedom Day. Ilonggos celebrate their Catholic faith in the annual Santa Cruzan Ciudad de Iloilo. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
The Environment, Tourism and Interior Departments recommended to close Boracay for 6 months.
To address issues such as illegal structures and faulty drainage systems that is affecting Boracay's prized beach.
The last time na nandito is 2017. It's actually crowded. Sobrang dami ng tao. Everywhere, makikita mo talaga bars and drinks and makalat talaga.
We had more cases of skin disease. We had more cases of diarrhea.
So nagkasama-sama lahat ng mga agencies, tiningnan ano ba ang plano natin sa Boracay, compliance on Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, at saka yung ating environmental compliance.
When they started demolishing, we saw that there was action, that they put their money where their mouth is.
Lahat ng nagamit na tubig ng customer, we collect it through our sewer lines, and then it goes through a treatment process sa treatment plant.
It was nice that it happened. Finally, Boracay got the attention it is in deep need of.
I think a lot of work was done during the closure. The water is clear, the oceans are clean, there seems to be a lot of wildlife returning. We had for the first time in 10 years, we had turtles hatching on the beach a couple of days ago.
During the closure, you could see like the eagles came back and everything that we have had for a long time.
Commercial pa nga yung mga kondito udanding, galing na Cebu.
In the end, it's a good thing, yes. It was hard for us, but it was also a wake-up call.
The beach was cleaned up and is officially set to reopen on October 26th.
Wala lang na kumakain sa beach, bawal ng manigarilyo.
Gumanda yung isla namin as in bumalik sa dati na ambience.
We teach kids about pollution, solid waste management, because they're the ones who will sustain all the things that we're doing now.
The freedom of information which President Rodrigo Duterte imposed boosts his fight against corruption. At a forum during the World Press Freedom Day celebration on May 26, the American Chamber of Commerce said the government has become more transparent with its transactions through the approval of the FOI. It said more than half of the population in the Philippines is active on social media, and that is why it is important that users only share the truth. A significant takeaway from the forum was the discussion on how there is no absolute truth and that the people should be informed enough to understand that news from the government and private media are not there for people to believe, but for people to judge. The discussions also focus on how digital citizens utilize digital media in advancing their interests and creating new platforms for discourse. A digital citizen is defined as a person who engages in conversations and socializes on social media or on the internet. Under the new media age, participants have noticed that the public has more power in disseminating information faster to people around the world. PCOO Assistant Secretary and FOI Executive Director Chris Ablan attended the forum celebration as one of the speakers. Agriculture Secretary Emmanuel Piñol on Thursday hailed the Duterte administration as the United States Department of Agriculture allowed the entry of young coconuts or buko to America. In a press release on May 29, Dr. Jocelyn Javellosa, Philippine Agriculture Attaché to the United States, said that young coconuts from the Philippines may now be exported to the United States. Director George Culaste of the Bureau of Plant Industry cited the young coconut producers who are waiting to tap export markets such as the USA and China. Agriculture officials are also in talks on the request for the access of Philippine okra to the U.S. market. A proposal to waive pre-clearance requirements for fresh mango exports, the U.S. request for blueberries to access the Philippine market, initiatives with regard to export certification and electronic phytosanitary certificates, and observance of the 2020 International Year of Plant Health. And in our foreign news, 7 people died and about 21 are still missing in Budapest after a Hungarian tourist boat with 34 people on board sank on Wednesday evening. 7 people were transported to hospitals to be treated for injuries, with 6 of them being released early. The Hungarian news agency MTI reported that the majority of the passengers were tourists from Southeast Asia. The sunken boat was the Habalani, a 27-meter-long double-decker with a capacity of 60 people. A search and rescue mission had begun downstream of the Margit Bridge. Budapest police, meanwhile, said the captain of the other boat has been detained. In sports, the Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Butch Ramirez is the new Chief de Mission for the Philippine team in the 30th Southeast Asian Games. Ramirez announced his decision to accept the offer from Philippine Olympic Committee Chairman Bambol Tolentino. Ramirez said he initially declined the post since he is the chairman of a government sports body, but Malacanang gave him the go signal to take it. Vargas appreciated the support extended by President Rodrigo Duterte and Malacanang to the POC and the country's athletes. The chef de mission position for the SEA Games was declared vacant after POC President Ricky Vargas relieved Makati Representative Monsul de Rosario from the post. The country will host the 30th SEA Games for the 4th time from November 30 to December 11 this year. Iloilo City takes pride of the Santa Cruzan not only as a festive event, but as a way to highlight religion, culture, and creativity. 42 Ilongga beauties on Tuesday wearing Ilonggo-made couture gowns joined the street procession for this year's Santa Cruzan Ciudad de Iloilo. The procession started at the Iloilo River Esplanade entrance in the Mandurriao district and concluded at SM City South Point. Santa Cruzan is a traditional celebration that commemorates the finding of the Holy Cross of Saint Helena. It is also incorporated in the fiestas in the city that also involves other provinces in Western Visayas. The Santa Cruzan also serves as a venue to showcase Ilonggo talents and promote local designers. The procession on Tuesday evening was followed by a short program at the mall venue, which Catalbas said is still aligned with the DOT's newest tagline, "Malling is more fun in the Philippines." Classes are starting next week, so let's have our children bring raincoats and umbrellas because we might also experience the onset of the rainy season. Meanwhile, let's check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. The containers of trash exported by Canada to the Philippines years ago are shipped out of the country. President Duterte tells Comelec to stop availing the services of Smartmatic following continued allegations of electoral fraud. The military condemns the mine attack on a civilian convoy by the New People's Army in Bukidnon. And the Duterte administration's freedom of information is highlighted in the celebration of World Press Freedom Day. Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And since Monday is the official start of the first day of classes in some public schools, we advise the children and their parents to shake off that holiday fever and start getting to school and focus and concentrate for the year to come. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.